Are we done with books? I'm seriously asking. I need to know. I have 10 books on my shelf. I haven't touched one in maybe 6 years, other than to move my room around, which I do every other week. But I'd like to know if they're going to start going out of style so that I can get them out of the way and sell them on eBay at a high rate. I used to read a lot of books, which isn't true, but I used to buy a lot of books. I have Stephen King books, The Shining, Misery. Sorry, I keep turning away from the mic to look at the books. Shining, Misery, Stand By Me, which is like a compilation of other books. It's called, wait, what's this book called? Stephen King, Different Seasons, and it has like 4 other books. Shawshank is in it, Apt Pupil, Stand By Me, and something else. The Nazi Downstairs or something. But I have The Shining, Misery. I read Misery in 8th grade. I started reading it at least. And I was like, you know what? This is a good book. This is a cool book. And then my 8th grade English teacher was like, hey, we're going to make you read The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury. So I had to stop reading Misery because God knows I'm not reading 2 books at once. And let me tell you, everybody, The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury is one of the stupidest books I've ever read in my life, and maybe even the stupidest book of all time. It's terrible. I'm moving the mic here. It doesn't make any sense. Of course, I was in 8th grade and I only half read it, so maybe there's something I'm missing where it's like, yeah, but you need to know he's actually talking about himself in a way, and that the illustrations on his body are really his inner demons on the outside. What about if all our inner demons were on the outside and you could see them in the form of tattoos? Which I don't know if that's true, if that's what the book is about, but I'm kind of blowing my mind right now that would be an excellent idea for a book. What if all your inner demons were somehow external demons? What would people treat you like then? You know what I mean? I might have to write that down, to be completely honest, because of course it would take me more than a day to actually extrapolate, but that could be an interesting conversation. And then you start getting into things like thought policing, which I think is in George Orwell's book 1984, which I also have, that I don't think I'll ever read. I bought it like 3 weeks ago. You get into thought policing because then you think, well, if you think about something disgusting and I can see it, well, now you're going to jail. You know what I mean? Should we punish those people for knowing what their thoughts are? That's an interesting topic. I just blew my mind. You might all think that's stupid. It may be very stupid, but that would be cool. So yeah, I have, what else do I have? 1984, The Curmudgeon's Guide to Getting Ahead, Fight Club, something about Inception, the book of Mythicality, and then what's the other one? I forget what it's called. Just Mercy, which is like that new one with Michael B. Jordan. They gave us that book though for, I don't know, freshman orientation last year at Penn State. I never touched it because I just gotten done finishing the book Kite Runner. Sorry, I burped. In my senior year English class, and it was too rapey for me. If anyone's read Kite Runner, that's a very weird book. It's not very weird until you get to the weird bully rape scene, and then it's just like, okay, now this whole book is tainted. Which I never understood about that idea of like a bully sexually assaulting somebody. Like even 13 Reasons Why. At the end of that season 2, they shove a broomstick up this kid's butt. I don't understand. Look, I'm all for bullying. Don't get me wrong, but to take it that far is very weird. And for them also to be like goons, you know what I mean? Like the bully has his crew, like his little goons. Like in Batman, they used to wear the shirt that just says goon. But if I'm a bully and I'm a part of this crew and there's a head bully, and we're normally like just stealing lunch money, holding kids over the side of the building and just shaking his shoes. Where's all my money? And just shaking it until the coins fall out and hit him in the head. Which is probably going to be over with soon because who carries coins anymore? Isn't that weird? Or like, have you ever seen an adult like take a quarter out of their pocket and you're just like, where'd you find that? When did you get to the store, pay with cash, and then get a quarter and keep it in your pocket? I don't know. Maybe that's another thing going out of style. Coins. And now we're having a national coin shortage. Do you think maybe they'll just take this as a hint of like, what do we need these for? How about we just make every price $7 and not $6.99? Oh, here's a penny. You just saved a penny. What am I supposed to do with a penny? Maybe back in the 50s when you could get a gallon of gas for a penny. But now, you can't do that. What are you going to buy with a penny? That's beside the point. Sorry. Getting in a rant about pennies, as I often do. Anyway, back to books. Are books going out of style yet? I feel like they are. First of all, I think they are going out of style, but I think it's not like records, where records went out of style, then cassettes were a thing, then, or 8 tracks, cassettes, then CDs. Now it's just MP3 files on your iPod. Sorry, I'm moving the mic again. But now records are back. Like, I think books will always stick around. They just will become increasingly unpopular. I wonder what the numbers are for digital books. I know audiobooks have probably gone up. Well, no, I don't know that. I would assume audiobooks go up because like everyone likes podcasts now, so an audiobook is just a podcast of a book. You know what I mean? But I wonder how popular the Kindle still is, where it's like, oh, you get your whole book on this. Like, but that's not good, and it hurts your eyes probably, and it's just not the same as an actual book. Same with taking notes online or taking a class online. Even though I can tell I'm not learning anything because I don't read it. I just watch the screen. I write everything down as quick as I can. As soon as the class is done, I just close my book. And I have all the notes in my book, but I didn't take in any of the information. So I think having a physical copy of something is much more important. Not because of, oh, I don't like trees, we should get rid of trees. But psychologically, mentally, I feel like they have a bigger impact on the reader. I think the reader's better off from taking actual notes and reading an actual book. Reading in general, I think, is much more important than people think, because it allows you to know what words are. I think that's the problem with grammar today, in that people don't know the right your, or the right there, or the right, I don't know, what else is there? I don't know, but when people write your, like Y-O-U-R, instead of Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, like you, they write you-R as your, Y-O-U-R. It's not because they're stupid, but it's because they're used to listening to words, watching TV, listening to podcasts, listening to music, and not reading words. So if you just hear the word your, you are, but it's, like, what's the word? Contracted word or something? I don't know. I'm changing my major in English, so hopefully I'll learn all this stuff by the end of my life. Compound word or something. Either way, they're used to hearing it as your, and they just go, well, your is spelled Y-O-U-R, so it's your. But if you would read, you would know how to spell words. That's a big problem with America today. I don't think it'll ever get solved, because who's actually going to bring back books? Not us. They're banning books. I don't know. I saw a picture on Twitter. They're like 2020 banned books. Why would we ban a book? Can we stop ruining art, please? Even the worst book of all time. Not the worst book. I don't even know what that would be. But let's say the Unabomber's Manifesto, right? He wrote that. I've never bought it. I never touched it. The last thing I need is my name on some government website, like in 7, when you can get the names of anyone who's checked out these specific books because they're like red flagged, and you'll get your name sent to the FBI or something. I don't need that. But the Communist Manifesto, no, not communist, sorry. The Unabomber's Manifesto, maybe it was communist, I don't know, I didn't read it. The Unabomber's Manifesto, of course, to buy that and read that, I don't think implies that you look up to the Unabomber. But how is that not something that everyone should read? You know what I mean? Like, we get to talk about the Unabomber and say how terrible his acts were, which they were. Don't let me fool you. Or don't get me wrong. I clearly don't, what's the word? Condone what he did, sending bombs to universities. But to say that his book is not important and that no one should read it, well, shouldn't we know what was going on in this guy's head? Like, is that not interesting to see what he actually, if we're going to just go, what a psycho, he's so stupid, why would he send bombs to universities? But then, to just discredit I mean, he put all of his thoughts into this book. So it is interesting to think we have all this information explaining exactly why he did what he did, and then we just go, don't read that, that's stupid. But shouldn't we know what he was thinking? And not only to say to prevent other people from doing it in the future, but just to see the inside of this guy's mind. Most people are normal people that would never send a bomb to a university. But here, we found a guy that did it, and not only did he do it, but any question you have about him is answered in this book. Here's a book of this guy's all these thoughts and all the reasons he did it. Same with something as evil as, like, I think, like, Hitler had a book, didn't he? I mean, Hitler was a bad guy, bad hombre, okay? He was a bad guy. Clearly. Terrible, evil human being. But he wrote a book explaining his thoughts and his views on things, and to just say, nope, no one should read that, that's on the banned book list, is just, why would we get rid of that? That's still history, and it would be interesting to see, like I said, I think most people are against Hitler, and we think it's, the reason he's so infamous is because he did something so disgusting and disturbing that no one in their right mind would ever even think about trying to do, that it's interesting that he did that. I mean, it's not a good thing, but it's definitely interesting that someone that was on the same planet as us was wanted to do something that's sinister, when most people are very nice. So here's someone that's the exact opposite of most people. Isn't that interesting? And here's a book of his inner thoughts, and you can read about what he thought and what he did. And then we're going to just say, no, that's on the banned book list because he was bad. And it's like, well, yeah, it's implied he was bad, but it would be interesting to know what he thinks. So let's stop ruining art. And let's stop trying to get into celebrities' heads and give a crap about what they say. You know what I mean? I like movies. Don't get me wrong. I love movies. I love TV shows. I like books. I like podcasts. And not to make anything political, but I don't want to know what these people think because it humanizes celebrities. Of course, celebrities are humans, Harrison. What are you saying? Yeah, but when I watch a movie, all right, let's not even say politics. Let's just say interviews. I heard Justin Thoreau, the guy that wrote Tropic Thunder. Sorry, that was a gross sound. Tropic Thunder, a comedy guy. He said he doesn't like watching interviews of actors because it takes him out of the movie, basically. Like, if you watch an interview of Tom Hanks, and he's just like, yeah, I have a dog, and his name is Ryan, and every day I wake up and have breakfast, and I go get the mail. I'm Tom Hanks. That's an interview with him, and he's talking about himself, Tom Hanks. But now, you watch Castaway, and he's in an airplane, and it crashes, and you're like, oh my god, this is insane, and he washes up on the beach, and then you're like, oh, it's Tom Hanks. That's not Chuck Nolan. That's Tom Hanks. What do we care? You hear that train? Nuts. You know what I'm saying? It takes you out of the movie. There's only a couple actors that do very well at, like, actually making me believe that they're people. Jake Gyllenhaal, and that might be it. And even he's a great actor, but I can still tell you, like, oh, that's Jake Gyllenhaal. Duh. It's not really the Nightcrawler, or whatever the heck else he was in. Zodiac. He's a good actor. But actors in general, they take me out of the movie. Because I'm watching The Big Short, and I go, that guy didn't just make $700 million off the housing crisis. That's Christian Bale. That guy's Batman. Oh, what is he going to go fight crime in The Big Short too? You know what I mean? So, my point was, I don't like knowing what celebrities have to say about not only politics, but just anything. Because now when I watch their movies, I just think, oh yeah, that's the guy that said he likes to put cereal in his butt. Huh. Well, I guess back to Dan in Real Life with Steve Carell. So let's quit ruining art. It should be about art. I think art should be anything. You should be able to put anything you want in art. You should be able to say anything you want, even if it's not a joke. And of course, if it is a joke, then that certainly shouldn't be, oh, we should ban it because he said something crude. It's like, yeah, but he obviously said it satirically, blah, 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 blah. Not to get into that whole rabbit hole about what counts as offensive and what counts as a joke, and even if it's a joke, is it offensive? And if it's offensive, we should take it off the books. Look, I don't think we should have Hitler's speeches or the Unabomber's manifesto in a child's library, but they shouldn't be kicked off of Amazon. I mean, you should be able to read these things. It's interesting. I hope I didn't just ruin my career by saying any of that. This is the 4th time I'm recording this podcast. I got 5 minutes into the first recording, I got 17 minutes into the second recording, and I just realized I don't know what the heck to talk about. And even right now, I'm kind of just rambling on about Hitler and the Unabomber. Jesus, Harrison, you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here. Can you please go on about something that you care about? All right. There's not really much I care about. It doesn't take much to impress me. I like the old Batman series. I like Dumb and Dumber. I like Fight Club. But that's not anything I've come up with. I mean, why would you come to me to hear about how cool Fight Club is? Just go watch the movie. Why would you come to me to hear about how good Batman is? Just go watch the show. Why would you come to me to hear about how good guitar is? Just go listen to Weezer actually play it. Although I have tried to learn Weezer's Say It Ain't So on the guitar. And we'll play it for you right now. On the acoustic guitar. I have an electric guitar, but I don't feel like going over to get it. The acoustic guitar is right here. I don't even know if I have a pick. Let's see if I can do it right. I know how to play it. I'm not good at playing it, but I know what I have to do for it to play. Wait. Ooh. Oh, that didn't sound good. And then, of course, we have the somebody's hiding this crowd. Wait. Somebody's hiding this crowd in my icebox. Somebody's cold one is giving me chills. Guess so. See? Not that great. I know what I have to do to play it, but it's not that easy. So anyway, I could go on about guitar, I could go on about Fight Club, but why would you come to me to hear half good reasons? Not good that the reasons are bad, but they're not very well thought out reasons about why Fight Club's good. I go, oh, because I like the part in the end when, spoiler alert, I like the part in the end where it's him the whole time. That is crazy. Yeah, you're not blowing anybody's mind. I hate having conversations with people that they're not blowing my mind. I mean, small talk is one thing, but when the whole conversation is small talk, please, shut up. There was this guy at work the other day that even was, I got in late. Normally his shift starts at 5, and I got in at 7:30 because I had class. No, sorry, 6:30. Because I had class. But at this point, it's probably 7, whatever. And I was in a truck with some guy, and he was like, there was no talking. He started the conversation. It was just like, hey, how late do you think we're going to be here tonight? And I said, honestly, I was being honest. I said, I don't know. I just got here, so I don't really have a sense of how well we've been doing. How many trucks did he say we had to do? He was like, 40. I'm like, no, we had to unload 40 trucks. He was like, 40. I was like, all right. How late do you think we're going to be here? Meaning, you've been here all day so far. How do you think we've been doing all right? Do you think we're getting out early? So I said, how late do you think we're going to be here tonight? And he just goes, I don't know. Now, why are you asking me then? It's not that hard to come up with an answer like, oh, we're probably going to be here for another 2 hours. Clearly you do not care about how late we're going to be here, which is fine. I'm not mad that he didn't care. I'm just annoyed. If you don't care, then what are you talking to me for? What are you asking me about how I feel when you don't even have an opinion on something so simple? It's one thing to get mad at someone for, like, asking you about politics, and they'll be like, I genuinely don't know how do you think we're gonna fix healthcare? And then I'm like, well, I think we should privatize everything and do. What do you think? And they go, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Now that wouldn't make me mad because healthcare is a big deal. It's a big, what's the word? Complicated issue, right? So that's one thing. But for asking a question like, hey, do you think we're going to be here for an hour or 2 hours? And then I say, what do you think? And he goes, I don't know. Like, just make something up at that point. But clearly you don't care. So what are you talking to me about that for? And that's what a lot of my pet peeves come down to with a lot at work, but just people in general when we're talking. Where, look, I'm not mad. I just to use the same example. I'm not mad that you don't care about how late we're going to be here at work. Do you think I go to bed or I go to sleep at night and I'm sitting in the fetal position just thinking, I can't believe he didn't care? No, I don't care. But it's annoying that you Jesus. Sorry. Oh my gosh. It's annoying that you're asking me about something you don't care about. Cuz you know what I mean? That'd be like if I went up to you and I was just like, "Hey, so what do you think about the medieval times, man? That was crazy, right?" And they go, "Yeah, it was crazy. What do you think?" And I'm just like, I really don't know. I don't know what to think about it. I have no opinion on it at all. Well, that's just a weird thing for you to bring up then. You know what I mean? So please, stop just trying to make conversations based on small talk alone. And then only talking to people that are and you're just going, hey, what's good, man? And I say, what's good? And then it's just like, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, see you later. I'm talking about my roommates, by the way. My new roommates. It's nothing but small talk. And I've had hour-long conversations where it's seriously just back and forth, like, nothing of substance. If 2 minutes is long enough for small talk, but an hour? I don't know why. I guess I'm too nice. And I like to sit and purposely handicap myself and force myself to not handicap, but put myself into situations that bother me. That way I can get mad about something. And also, like at work, Jason, like we work together at FedEx. So we'll talk about people that work there. And there's this one kid, let's just say Greg. We're like, Greg's a weirdo. So I'm like, hey Jason, have you talked to Greg at all? Isn't he a nut job? And he's like, no, I don't talk to him at all. And I'm like, well, I talk to him all the time because he's so weird that I just kind of want to know what goes on in his head. You know what I mean? That way I have artillery. Not that I'm going to ever, I don't know what the right word is, but just like I have information about why he's so weird. I don't just like look at him and go, oh, he's a weirdo. I actually know why he's weird because I've heard him talk. That kind of comes back full circle with the whole Hitler and Unabomber thing, where it's just like, it's one thing, obviously, it goes without saying that you could just look at someone, or like hear about what Hitler did or the Unabomber did, and you go, they are terrible people. But then it's another thing to read what they actually genuinely thought, like their private thoughts, and then you go, these guys are absolutely nuts. It's important to get all the information on someone, even if you already know they're terrible. It's still interesting to read their books or to go at work and talk to them and actually try to get more information about how they're so weird, because now his stories are my stories. And all the weird stuff he tells me at work about how I don't even want to get into it. He's a total weirdo. Sorry, I'm trying to think about if I should say stories or not. But he's a total nut job. He tells me lies about the other people that work there, which is funny. I'm not going to go, oh my God, he's a liar. I go into it with a grain of salt, knowing about the stories he's going to tell. But I'm friends with these other guys at work. This one kid just got injured on the job, right? He fell down and cracked his head open. But I've worked with him. I talked to him, asked him about how everything happened. So I know basically every detail about what happened and how this kid cracked his head open. He had a bunch of boxes fall on him. They knocked him over. He cut his head open. But now I let this weirdo, Greg, tell me the exact same story as if I had never heard it before. I was like, wait, what happened to this kid who cracked his head open? He's like, oh, it's a crazy story. Yeah, he got scalped. He got scalped by the belt. He fell on the metal. It cut his whole head off. Or his whole, scalp off. And then I was just like, well, that's crazy, which is completely untrue. That's not what happened. He wasn't scalped. Not that you guys care. I'm just saying in general, like, the kind of crap this kid tells me is so stupid and weird. But it would be a disservice to myself to not hear him talk about it. And it's a disservice to get rid of books. And it's a disservice to ruin art. We should be taking it as much. Of course, it should be clear whether or not something's true or false. I don't want to just be reading books and then go out and be like, we never made it on the moon. Which I guess, I don't know if we did or not. I think we did. But of course, if we're going to do anything that ruins art, it's like, okay, at least let us know if it's true or false. That way we're not going out spouting fake information. But we shouldn't just get rid of stuff. The same reason we shouldn't get rid of statues of rude people in America. Now, I like to think about it this way. Let's say your dog pooped on the floor. Now, what would be better to teach your dog not to do that again? Should you, A, hide the poop and tell your dog everything's okay? There's no poop here. You poop on the floor. Look. The dog's like, hey, I pooped on the floor. And then you're like, no, you didn't. See? It's gone. Which in reality, you just cleaned it up. But you're like, look, there's no poop over there. What are you talking about? So now the dog thinks, oh, if I poop on the floor, it just disappears. So I can poop on the floor as much as I want and nothing's going to happen. Or, B, would it be better to take the dog's face and point it at the poop and say, hey, you stupid mutt, this ain't going to fly in my house, all right? So look at this. You see what you did? You pooped on the floor. That isn't cool. And then you take a newspaper and you wind it up real tight and you stick it in the dog's butt. And you go, see? See, doesn't that hurt? Not going to happen again. Right? What would be better to teach the dog? I mean, going into it saying he shouldn't do it again is, I guess, a little biased. So what would you rather do? Because one, either you let the dog poop on the floor, but you have to clean it up, or you let the dog poop on the floor one time and then teach him never to do it again. That's how I think about these statues, where, of course, clearly, the people on the statues were bad people. There were, well, not every statue, but of course there's obvious examples of people that are like, we should have him as a statue. He did this in the war. He was a terrible guy. And I go, look, that's true. But shouldn't we use it as evidence of, hey, look, we know we messed up in the past, but we have evidence that we messed up in the past, and we know the mistakes we made in the past, and clearly we think we shouldn't do them again. So that's why we have the statue. It's not a shrine to this evil guy, but it's a reminder that America was at times not so nice to certain people, not everything was perfect in America. We had examples of terrible people. Or should we just get rid of the statues and go, look, everything's fine. We never made a mistake. Look. And now you're teaching people, if you make a mistake, no one's going to remember it. So you might as well just make as many mistakes as you want because no one's going to hold you accountable. Right? I know I gave the dog examples as A and B, and then I gave the analogies backwards. But hopefully you know which lines up with which. Of course, hiding the poop is the same as getting rid of the statues, is what I think. That's just my point of view. I mean, I could be very wrong, but hopefully at least. That's another thing, real quick. I know we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, down to the wire. But I could very well be wrong. But at least you know what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be one thing to just say, no, I think we should keep the statues up. Because, of course, there's many things you could assume about what I must think in my head. Like, there could be people that are just evil and or just bad people, and they're like, I want to keep the statues up because I like thinking about how great that guy was. Where that's not where I'm coming from. I'm saying I want the statues up because I know how bad these guys were, and I think it's a reminder that not everything was perfect in America. So, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, like I said. Of course, we end every episode with a word of the day. And today's word of the day is incredulity. The state of being unwilling or unable to believe something. It's a noun. He stared down the street in incredulity. That's the sentence on Google, which doesn't make sense. How does it give me any context for the words? Maybe it'd say, he stared down the street at Santa Claus in incredulity. because you'd be, I don't believe that. Or Jesus' disciples saw him walk on water, and they stared in incredulity. So use that word in a sentence throughout your day, or the next day, or the next day. And of course, we're going to end with a great song by the band Block Party. And if you ever heard this song and it doesn't immediately want to make you go on a run for 6 hours, then you're an idiot. It's called Helicopter. Is that too long, YouTube? Sorry. I know everyone comes here to listen to 3-second snippets of Block Party on my YouTube channel. So, it's been half an hour. I've been talking for a very long time. This is the 7th time I recorded a podcast today. Hopefully I think this one kind of came full circle. Also, share this podcast with your friends. We need it to get out and about. I might have already said that already, but maybe it was the last 2 times I recorded this. Look, I'm very proud that we have a handful of viewers that watch every episode. But we need more. I'm thinking about starting Saturday episodes, videos, uploading actual videos, not just audio podcasts, uploading actual videos. If you have any ideas of what I could talk about, let me know. Because otherwise, they're just going to be weird things that no one wants to talk about. But if the viewers have things they want to hear, then I'll talk about them. I got nothing better to do. So, enunciate your words, read a book, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Or I'll talk to you. I'm not going to see you.